America's Super Week has just concluded, and in typical America's fashion, it was full of surprises, upsets, insane highlights, and equally insane lowlights, mostly from 100 Thieves.
Starting us off, we have Evil Geniuses versus Furia. As we're used to at this point, Potter is truly living up to the name of the orc and throwing crazy ass comps at Furia like Omen Brim Unbind. Superman was playing out of his mind, especially for being older than the British fucking monarchy. With him on Omen, it allowed him to play crazy aggressive during post plans, which he capitalized on, going 23-8. Playing like a fucking Avengers level threat at the ripe old age of 80. EG took the first half 9-3 and eventually closed it out 13-5. Honorable mention to Jogamo for hitting the nastiest moves ever on Noswar on round 9, giving him a little lap dance in hookah. Noswar's gotta have a mental of a god, because if that happened to me, I'd retire right then and there. Pack my shit, move to Costa Rica. On Lotus, things were not much different. Jogamo took over the lobby, showing what it's like to have a real life Neon player on your team. This is not a Neon player. This is a Neon player. EG take the map 13-4 in dominating fashion and continue their comeback to try to make top 6. As for Furia, it's the end of the line. No hope of making playoffs, which means 100 Thieves are actually badass. Moving on, we have a banger. Sentinels vs. Crew was on my list as one of the most hype matches coming into this week. Sentinels started their stage 2 strong with a convincing win over a rejuvenated NRG roster, and Crew are looking to bounce back after what was a very disappointing playoff run, just missing out on a ticket to Shanghai. We open with Lotus, where the two best Raze players in the Americas have just, you guessed it, locked in Raze. Sentinels start the half on attack, going up 8-4. On defense is where things get a little shaky. Sen take the first 2 rounds and then start to lose control. Crew almost ties it up at 10, but the GOAT had other plans. All momentum is stopped, flipped on its head, and robbed of all of its money, as Ten hits one of the cleanest aces this year, hitting yet another banger clip in rubble at 1 HP. Giving Sen their second win to eventually take Lotus 13-11. We then head to Sentinel's hometown to split, where once again, Sen take the first half attacking up 8-4. And unfortunately for Crew, you just can't let the 07 Patriots split defense dog on you like that on their weaker side. And eventually close out the map 13-10 and the series 2-0.
Back with the Brazilian brawl starting on day 2, MIBR versus Loud. No one expected this series to go the distance, but this one match lasted longer than Inspire's entire Tier 1 competitive career. Paula put up an insane performance in this matchup, dropping 17 First Bloods over the course of the match versus Sodok's 11. You have no idea how good Tim Duncan was. Loud put up a dominant performance on Ascent with a 13-7 stomp, and Tui's putting up a Herculean effort, dropping 20 and 13. Seeing this performance, one would think there's no way Loud are met with any pushback this series. But you forgot, Sodok really wants to play Duelist. Lotus was an absolute banger, with Loud getting humbled by MIBR's prep, just barely getting rounds bailed out by the quality of their players. Artisan was really showing how much of an absolute unit he is, swapping roles, just to gaslight Sodok further into thinking he can do it as well. Map 3 went to Sunset, and MIBR shit the bed worse than the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA Finals. They kept it close, playing a 6-6 attack half, but then got vicious back shots from Loud, closing out the map with MIBR only getting 3 more rounds. 100 Thieves shit the bed worse than Amber Heard. Boostio is so afraid of content, and apparently he's also afraid of winning. Turns out 100 Thieves' simple playstyle on Bind was not as invincible as we thought, with Lev having done their research. Lev had a dominant attack half with an 8-4 half and Osbos doing God's work, showing 100 Plats how a tier 1 player should look. 100 Thieves brought it back on defense with some good adaptations, but in the end, they couldn't close out the comeback, and Lev took Bind from 100 Thieves 13-10. Boostio was the only one to go positive on that map, and EU decided to go just even so he could keep his job after this season. Maybe if they didn't drop my GOAT, Derek Overwatch, it would have gone differently. The following map in Haven can be described in the same way as Kanye West dropping 30 on a wheelchair-bound basketball team. Osbos didn't even have to deadlift this map. It was just an overall shit show, like watching the Detroit Pistons. 100 Thieves just did not have an answer for anything on Haven, and went down 0-6 and barely getting 2 rounds for a 2-10 half. The systematic deconstruction of this team right now is like JoJo Siwa's music career. It's a car crash you can't look away from. Common Text didn't even have to do anything with their combined kills, not even equating to 20. King, Osbos, and Mazzino looked like Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, and Dennis Rodman out there, cleaning up the remnants of this roster, ending the map 13-5 in Lev's favor, taking the series 2-0.
Day 3 kicks off with El Clasico. America versus Canada. Valen versus FNS. Optic versus NRG versus G2. What was supposed to be a legendary clash of minds with 2 of the best attack calling IGLs in the world ended in total and utter disaster for NRG. After coming off a close loss last week against Sen, NRG took inspiration from their foe and played FNS on Deadlock, where he popped the fuck off, going 4-18 on Haven, dropping Pi at some point during the series. The rest of the comp was crazy too, putting Ethan on Yoru, which is nothing new, but Victor on Clove? Mr. White must have been coming through with that blue stuff because no one was on the same page. There were enough forced errors and over-aggression by NRG that it would be enough to earn Chet 30 to life on assault and battery charges on my eyes. G2 did a really good job working the map against an Iron 1 level comp, starting the map up 6-0 and closed out Haven 13-7. Next map was Bind, where Chet and FNS put down the pipe and played their standard comp. It didn't matter though, G2's attacks were still way too clean as they go up 9-3 at the half. NRG do start to show some signs of life when they go onto the attack, but it's all thrown away after clawing back up to an 8-11 scoreline. NRG give up an eco round to, you guessed it, over-aggression and forced errors. Trent is also a psychopath for investing this Gecko ult, but with a haircut like that, he could do whatever he wants. Brother could Gecko ult all 4 of his teammates and I still find a way to defend him. There had to have been a vision. G2 after starting up, you'll never believe it, 6-0, win Bind 13-8, and the series 2-0. Next up, we have Choke 9 versus Sentinels. I have to say, every time I watch C9, I just think about how there's only 2 players on their team with consistent impact, Oxy and Zeppa. Map 1 was Haven, where Sentinels showed C9 what it feels like to be in a dunking contest when you're 4'11" and you're up against Shaquille O'Neal. Sentinels absolutely blew through them with a dominant 13-5 on Haven. Split was a bit closer, with both teams engaging in an intense tug-of-war, going 6-6 at half. But after second half pistol, C9 really felt like the Mavericks with 1-star player being only able to do so much. And as certain as Tiger Woods cheating on his wife for the 30th time in a row, Sen took Split after winning 7 straight defensive rounds. C9 played 15 attacking rounds this series and managed to win 2. Absolute cinema. Sen closed out the map 13-8 and the series 2-0. Day 4 starts off hot with EG versus Lev, which on paper should have been a banger, but in reality was utter disaster for EG. We start on the Icebox where EG whips out their 4th Icecox comp of this season. Potter for the first time has overcooked. Jogmo on stage was inspirational to say the least. He had some pretty nice moments like this ace clutch on round 7, standing on his money and finding 2 on top of the wall like he's playing ranked, and then wins a round by wrapping back sight and finding 2. But all of a sudden, he remembers his dog shit orders paying him in meme coins, and on round 10 he fucks up his Grimwall, blocks off Maze, and gives the most free passage to backside maybe ever. EG lose that round and end up losing the half 7-5, and then Lev takes 6 attack rounds straight to close out the map 13-5. Up next is Sunset, which is a little closer. EG shows some signs of life here during the first half, although this really was just the Osboss show, proving that his ESEC violation level performance at Masters Tokyo last year was just a fluke, dominating on Neon and leading his team to take the map 13-10 and the series 2-0. I really wish there was more to hate on about this game, but EG just let the best team in Americas run their shit. People expect you to go to champs. Lock the fuck in. We finished out the day with Loud versus Furia, which delivered on what was robbed from us in the previous game. Actual good Valorant. We start off on Haven, where Pincata is making a last-ditch effort to prove to everyone again that he's the best controller player in the world by putting on a clinic, dropping 28 kills in the opening map, earning back all the honey robbed from him on Sentinels to be the most glazed player on this team. This clutch in round 18 brought back all momentum to take the map 13-11. Next is Icebox, where things become a little rough for Loud. The game is very much in Furious control after round 8, as they took the map 13-10. Nosber's efforts ever since stage 2 genuinely make me wonder how the fuck this guy got kicked from Osboss and friends. Finally, we moved to Bind, where Musera saw all that honey Pincata and Nosber have been getting and said he wanted all of that. Loud started at 4-1, and then this fucking freak found what felt like 2 or 3 picks literally every single round, deadlifting Fury to take the map 13-9 and the series 2-1, marking this as Loud's first ever loss to a Brazilian team. Loud, congratulations, you've made it to Fraud Watch. The final day of Super Week has come, and we kick off with 100 T-Ballers versus MIBR. 100 Thieves must have forgotten that they were dog shit and came into the series with a vengeance. MIBR lost both maps in dominating fashion, Icebox 13-5 and Bind 13-6. EU was single-handedly doing everything he could to beat the fraud allegations, going 43-14 across the series. Try all you want, buddy, but if Derek Overwatch were in those shoes, that boy drops 50. As for MIBR, the sad story continues of living in a reality where G2 have the chance to drop out of VCT, while MIBR continues to bathe in Riot money and drain it into their CS2 team. Now we wait in anticipation for the most useless match this year of MIBR versus Furia, and watch Musera put the entire roster onto a t-shirt. We close out Super Week with a Giga Banger as NRG take on a classless crew in a match to decide FNS's legacy. If NRG lose, they're pretty much out of playoff contention. If they win, however, impossible becomes maybe a non-zero chance. We start on Split where NRG lose control instantly, starting down 6-1. And just like the G2 series, they pretend to figure out how to play the game and make it a little closer than it really is, and then eventually lose the map 13-7. However, this is where Pujan locks in and calls a solid attacking half on Ascent, starting up 7-5, his best all week. NRG continue this dominance through the next half and take the map 13-8. You know shit's getting crazy when FNS is going positive, dropping 18 and 12 that map. MTA playing like he's guarding Shaq on the 3-point line and he lets him drain it twice! I can hardly forgive you for the first time, and now he's near double negative on 2 maps. The nightmare of losing to a fragging 30-year-old, the 30-year-old's little brother, 2 borderline 30-year-olds, and fucking Ethan has just become a reality as crew lose Sunset 13-7 and NRG close out Super Week with a 2-1 victory. MTA, the man filling in for Klaus, left a lot to be desired. This kid needs to step it the fuck up over the next week, or Kesnit might just kill a man if he misses out on his first ever Champs event. Super Week was an absolute beast to get through, so apologies it's so late. We ran into some complications that were out of our control, and we had to record and edit overnight to get this out as soon as we could. At least we're being truthful with you guys, unlike Inspire when he says he has a chance to go pro again. Be sure to like and sub if you enjoyed. Thank you so much.